Kids who regularly eat fast food could be on a fast track to getting heart disease and diabetes when they're older.
Did you know that foodborne illnesses hospitalize 128,000 Americans every single year, according to the CDC? And most of these cases come from restaurants you probably ate at last week. I'm talking major chains, places you trust, places with commercials showing happy families and fresh ingredients. But what if I told you that behind those bright logos and smiling mascots, some of America's biggest restaurant chains are hiding violations so disgusting that health inspectors have literally shut them down on the spot? In today's video, I'm counting down the top 10 worst restaurant chains in America you need to stop eating at immediately. 10. Wendy's. Wendy's loves to talk about their square patties and sea salt fries, but here's what they don't advertise. In 2022, Wendy's restaurants across multiple states were linked to an E. coli outbreak that sent 84 people to the hospital. One of those people was an 11-year-old girl in Michigan. She didn't just get sick, she developed permanent brain damage. Her family filed a $20 million lawsuit, and Wendy's ended up paying out over $4.7 million across 39 separate lawsuits in 5 states. Think about that for a second. A child went to Wendy's for a burger and left with brain damage that will affect her for the rest of her life. Health inspectors who investigated the Michigan location found 17 different violations, including moldy food, spoiled produce, dirty surfaces, and water leaks everywhere. And this wasn't just in one bad location. A Fort Lauderdale Wendy's was featured in a 2023 Dirty Dining segment, where inspectors found insects crawling all over the restaurant. Another Las Vegas location racked up 27 violations in a single inspection, including dirty soda nozzles, food left on the floor, and raw food cross-contamination. The worst part is that Wendy's knew they had problems but kept serving customers anyway. Former employees have come forward saying management pressured them to keep working even when they knew the kitchens weren't clean. Multiple locations have been cited for employees not washing their hands between handling raw meat and ready-to-eat food. One worker even posted on social media that their manager told them to just rinse their hands instead of properly washing them because it was faster during rush hour. And for those sea salt fries you love, well, multiple customers have reported finding foreign objects in their food, including plastic pieces, metal shavings, and even hair baked into the fries themselves. When you're eating at Wendy's, you're basically rolling the dice. Will you get a decent meal, or will you end up as another statistic in their next outbreak? Number 9. McDonald's. McDonald's is currently in full damage control mode. In October 2024, the CDC linked an E. coli outbreak to McDonald's Quarter Pounders that sickened 104 people across 14 states. One person died. Dozens were hospitalized. The contamination came from slivered onions supplied by Taylor Farms. But here's the thing, McDonald's has been dealing with food safety issues for decades, and they never seem to learn. FDA inspectors who visited the Taylor Farms facility that supplied McDonald's found extensive biofilm buildup on equipment. That's basically layers of bacteria that had been growing and spreading for who knows how long. This biofilm led to cross-contamination throughout the facility, meaning even food that wasn't directly contaminated got exposed. McDonald's responded by pulling onions from their menu and launching a $100 million advertising campaign to win back customers. Notice how they spent more on ads than they probably did fixing the actual problem? But this isn't new. Back in 1993, McDonald's was involved in an E. coli outbreak traced to contaminated hamburgers that killed 4 people and hospitalized hundreds. That was over 30 years ago, and they're still dealing with the same issues. In 2024, a salmonella outbreak was linked to McDonald's salads, and multiple locations have been cited for dirty ice machines, employees not washing hands, and food stored at unsafe temperatures. One customer in Indiana posted a video showing mold growing inside their burger bun. Another found a live insect cooked into their chicken nugget. The chain's entire business model is built on speed and volume, which means cutting corners. Everything is about getting food out fast, and food safety is secondary. Former crew members have admitted online that they're often told to ignore expiration dates on sauces and ingredients because throwing things out costs money. The breakfast items sit under heat lamps for hours. The coffee machines rarely get properly cleaned. And think of those play place ball pits. When's the last time you think those got sanitized? Number 8. Popeyes. Popeyes markets itself as a Louisiana kitchen with authentic flavors, but a 2024 lawsuit revealed something so disturbing it made international news. A former supplier accused multiple Popeyes franchises in Ontario, Canada, of sourcing chicken from unauthorized sellers who were literally storing raw chicken in residential garages without proper refrigeration. The chicken was then transported in regular consumer vehicles with no cooling systems and sold to restaurants where it was cooked and served to customers. The lawsuit claims that in some cases the chicken was was rotten, expired, and completely unfit for human consumption. When the legitimate supplier brought this to Popeye's attention, instead of investigating and fixing the problem, the company just cut ties with the whistleblower. The lawsuit is seeking over $45 million in damages, and the allegations are absolutely wild. Chicken stored in someone's garage, no proper storage. Just raw poultry sitting in the heat and then being served to families. And this isn't even touching on the countless health violations at Popeye's locations in the United States. A Charlotte, North Carolina location scored an 88 on their health inspection after inspectors found microbial mold growth in the lemonade and slushy drink nozzles. An employee was caught touching raw chicken multiple times, then going to complete other tasks without washing their hands. When the employee finally did wash their hands after being told by the inspector, they didn't even use soap. A Robinson, Pennsylvania Popeyes was ordered to shut down after inspectors found excessive grease and food debris on dishes, no hot water in the bathrooms, and failure to properly sanitize anything. This was marked as a repeat violation, meaning they'd already been warned about it before. A Toledo, Ohio location was shut down for cockroaches crawling on the shelf where side dishes are kept hot. A Decatur, Illinois Popeyes had its business license completely revoked after inspectors found raw chicken at unsafe temperatures, pink and black organic matter in the ice dispenser, heavy fly activity, and non-potable water dripping into exposed food. Multiple employees have admitted that the seasoning on that famous chicken comes pre-mixed in industrial bags. The red beans and rice are reheated from frozen, and the biscuits are partially baked at a factory then finished in store. Nothing is made fresh like they want you to believe. 7. Subway, eat fresh. That's been Subway's slogan since forever. But let me tell you what's actually fresh at Subway, the lawsuits. In October 2024, a customer filed a class action lawsuit claiming Subway's advertisements for the steak and cheese sandwich show at least 200% more meat than what actually gets served. She paid $6.99 expecting the sandwich from the ad and received what she described as barely any steak. But false advertising is honestly the least of Subway's problems. Multiple San Francisco locations were investigated in 2024 for paying immigrant workers well below minimum wage, sometimes not paying them at all. Workers reported being paid $14 per hour in cash when the minimum wage was $18.67, running restaurants completely alone for 10-hour shifts, and not being allowed bathroom breaks. One worker said he went 9 months without ever receiving a pay stub. Now let's talk about the actual food. A Georgia location in February 2024 went from a perfect health inspection score of 100 to a failing score of 60 in just a few months. The violations included meatballs not held at proper temperature, the person in charge touching a laptop, then touching equipment without washing hands, and cookies placed right next to a hand, washing sink with no splash guard. Another location had an employee serve a customer with raw, uncooked bacon. The customer posted a video that went viral showing completely raw pink bacon on their sandwich. Multiple customers have reported food poisoning after eating at Subway. One woman in Memphis documented getting violently ill after her order arrived frozen solid. Not cold, but actually frozen like a brick. Employee testimonials reveal that the cold cuts sit in drawers all day at questionable temperatures. The vegetables are pre-cut and stored in bins that don't always get properly refrigerated. The bread, while baked in-house, uses dough that arrives frozen in bags. A 2024 class action lawsuit alleges Subway's advertisements are deliberately misleading about portion sizes across multiple menu items, and customers consistently receive far less food than what's shown in marketing materials. When you're paying $10 for a footlong that's mostly bread and vegetables stored at unsafe temperatures, you're not eating fresh. You're eating whatever hasn't made you sick yet. 6. Taco Bell. Taco Bell has one of the longest and most disturbing histories of food poisoning outbreaks of any major chain. We're talking decades of incidents. In 2010, a salmonella outbreak linked to Taco Bell sickened 155 people across 21 states. In 2006, an E. coli outbreak sent 71 people to the hospital across 5 states, with 8 developing kidney failure. In 2000, a hepatitis A outbreak from contaminated green onions affected 30 people. In 1995, another hepatitis A outbreak traced to an infected employee sickened 95 people in Salt Lake City. And it just keeps happening. In May 2023, a Taco Bell employee in Washington tested positive for hepatitis A while actively working and handling food. Health officials had to issue public warnings telling anyone who ate at those locations to get vaccinated immediately. In 2019, Taco Bell recalled 2.3 million pounds of seasoned beef after customers found metal shavings in their food. That's not a little bit of beef, 2.3 million pounds across 21 states. The problem is that Taco Bell's entire supply chain is contaminated from the source. The lettuce, the tomatoes, the onions all arrive at the restaurants already tainted with bacteria. But instead of changing suppliers or implementing better safety protocols, Taco Bell just waits for the next outbreak, issues an apology, and keeps operating. Multiple locations inspected in Columbia, Missouri in 2024 were found to have violations. Ohio, Georgia, and other states have locations with repeated health code failures. Former employees have revealed that the beans are literally poured out of bags and reheated. The meat gets cooked in massive batches and sits in warming trays all day. The nacho cheese is a chemical concoction that comes from a machine that rarely gets properly cleaned. One worker posted that their manager told them to serve food that had been dropped on the floor because, quote, they'd just scrape off the dirty parts. Another said they watched employees prepare food while visibly sick because calling off meant losing their job. And here's something that'll blow your mind. There's actually a law firm that specializes specifically in Taco Bell food poisoning cases. That's how common it is. They have a whole practice area just for people who got sick from eating there. When a restaurant chain has lawyers who specialize in suing them for making people ill, that should tell you everything you need to know. 5. KFC Kentucky. Fried Chicken wants you to believe they're using the Colonel's original recipe to serve up comfort food the way it's meant to be made, but KFC has been involved in some truly disturbing scandals that the company desperately wants you to forget. In 2014, a television investigation in China caught KFC's supplier Shanghai Husi Food Company picking meat off the factory floor and throwing it directly into meat mixers. The footage showed workers handling poultry and beef with bare hands, sewage and trash all over the floor, and expired meat being mixed with fresh meat to hide the smell. The workers described the meat as stinky, and they were literally concealing rotten products by mixing it with non-expired items. 10 employees received prison sentences, and the parent company was fined over $300,000. But that was KFC's supplier. If that's what the supplier was doing, what do you think is happening in the actual restaurants? An Arlington, Texas KFC location was shut down in 2024 after health inspectors found a roach infestation with poor overall cleanliness and food contact surfaces covered in residue. A Vermont KFC was closed after multiple complaints about maintenance and cleanliness led to an inspection that found broken floor tiles, standing water everywhere, and leaking floor drains into the basement. The inspector noted that floors, walls, and ceilings were not maintained in a sanitary manner, and equipment hadn't been properly cleaned. A 2019 investigation by NBC Dateline found that KFC had an average of 102 critical health violations per 100 inspections. That's more than one critical violation per inspection on average. These violations included moldy ice machines, cross-contamination between raw and cooked food, employees not washing hands, and grime buildup on equipment. One location in Virginia had visible debris stuck in soda nozzles that customers were drinking from. KFC also failed for years to address antibiotic use in their chicken supply. While its competitors like McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, and even Taco Bell committed to reducing antibiotic use in chicken, KFC earned failing grades in 2016, 2017, and 2018. Over 350,000 people signed petitions calling on KFC to stop using chickens treated with antibiotics important to human medicine, and the company basically ignored them. They'd rather maximize profits than address the growing threat of antibiotic-resistant superbugs. And about that gravy you love. Well, former workers say it's made from the leftover fried chicken bits scraped from the bottom of the fryers, mixed with water and seasoning. The mashed potatoes come from powder. The coleslaw arrives pre-made in bags. Nothing is fresh. Nothing is made the traditional way. It's all about volume and speed for these companies, and your health is nowhere in the equation. 4. Sonic Drive-In is supposed to be this nostalgic American experience with car hops and cherry limeades, but multiple Sonic locations have been shut down in 2024 and 2025 for violations so severe that health departments had no choice but to close them immediately. A Coral Springs, Florida Sonic was ordered closed in November 2024 after inspectors found approximately 25 live flying insects landing on shelving used for clean utensils and on the lemonade machine and soda cup lids. The entire food preparation area was infested. A Wichita Falls, Texas Sonic was shut down in December 2024 after health inspectors found rodent feces in the dry storage area, on the soda fountain, under the hand washing sink, and under the 3-compartment sink. Flies were seen in the drink prep area, and there was a strong odor in the back of the kitchen. During a follow-up inspection, they found 18 total violations. The restaurant had been given a chance to voluntarily fix the problems, but when inspectors came back, it was somehow worse. A DeSoto, Missouri Sonic was closed after a video surfaced on social media showing cockroaches crawling inside the ice cream machine. When health inspectors showed up, they found roaches in all life stages in the ice cream machine panel, in a prep table panel, behind a wall sign in front of the soda machine, and roach bodies and nests in several equipment panels. The report stated that due to the level of infestation, the ice cream machine and prep table had to be completely removed from the facility and replaced. They couldn't even be cleaned, they had to be thrown out entirely. Multiple Sonic locations have also been cited for child labor violations. In South Carolina, Sonic franchises were fined over $61,000 after investigators found they illegally employed 91 minors under 16 years of age beyond permitted hours. These kids were working past 7 p.m. on school nights, more than 3 hours on school days, and over 18 hours in a school week, all direct violations of federal labor laws. But back to the food violations. A Tehachapi, California Sonic was closed for severe buildup of grease on exhaust hood filters and dirty flooring, walls, and ceilings throughout the restaurant. A Marshall, Texas. Sonic was also shut down with pest control trucks visibly parked outside trying to deal with whatever infestation they had going on. When restaurants keep getting shut down over and over for the same issues, it shows a systemic problem with the corporate culture that prioritizes profits over safety. 3. Subway, again. Yes, Subway is so bad, it makes the list twice. In 2023, a customer at a chopped salad location found a severed human finger in their salad. But wait, this is about Subway, right? Well, both chains are part of the larger fast casual segment that markets themselves as healthier alternatives. But recent investigations have shown that Subway locations are among the worst offenders for health violations in the fast food industry. But here's something that happened specifically at Subway that's even more disturbing. In November 2024, one Subway location in Gwinnett County, Georgia, went from a perfect score to a failing score in just months. Numerous former employees have come forward with horror stories. One worker said they watched managers instruct employees to change date labels on expired meat so it could still be served. Another said the meatball marinara sits in warming trays for entire days, sometimes multiple days, just getting reheated over and over. The biggest issue is that Subway's business model relies on individual franchise owners who are trying to maximize profits on razor-thin margins. That means they cut corners everywhere possible. They don't pay workers enough to care about food safety. They don't invest in proper equipment maintenance. They don't replace ingredients when they should. And corporate doesn't enforce standards strictly enough because that would mean shutting down locations that generate revenue. Health departments across the country have shut down Subway locations for improper food storage, employees not washing hands, cross-contamination between raw and ready-to-eat foods, dirty utensils and prep surfaces, broken refrigeration units, and pest problems. The sandwich you're eating was probably made by a worker making minimum wage who hasn't been properly trained, using ingredients that have been sitting at unsafe temperatures, prepared on surfaces that weren't properly cleaned. And that $5 foot-long deal everyone loves? Well, you get what you pay for. When a restaurant is trying to sell you an entire sandwich for $5, something's gotta give. Usually it's food quality, worker pay, and health standards. Subway has over 20,000 locations worldwide, and it's literally impossible for them to maintain consistent standards at that scale. Just 2. Chipotle paid $25 million to resolve criminal charges related to foodborne illness outbreaks between 2015 and 2018. Let me repeat that: criminal charges. This wasn't just a civil lawsuit or a slap on the wrist fine. Chipotle was charged with adulterating food in violation of federal law, making it the largest food safety criminal case in United States history. More than 1,100 people got sick from outbreaks of norovirus, salmonella, and E. coli at Chipotle locations across the country. A Chipotle in Pensacola, Florida was temporarily closed in 2024 after inspectors found rodent droppings and clear signs of rodent activity throughout the restaurant. They also found violations in dish sanitization and temperature control on cold items. An Ocala location was also shut down for live cockroach activity. Multiple Florida locations have been cited for rodents and roaches, which makes you wonder what's happening at locations that haven't been caught yet. But here's what really gets me about Chipotle. They market themselves as the healthier, fast casual option with fresh ingredients and sustainable practices. They charge premium prices. A burrito bowl can easily cost $15, and yet they've been caught over and over again failing basic food safety protocols. Former employees have posted videos showing how the guacamole that's supposedly made fresh every day is actually made in massive batches that sit around for hours. The chicken is grilled ahead of time and reheated throughout service. The brown rice is often undercooked because it takes too long to make properly and slows down the line. Chipotle also faced a massive scandal in 2024 when customers started complaining on social media that portion sizes had dramatically shrunk while prices kept increasing. The company initially denied it, but after the complaints went viral, they quietly announced they would retrain workers on portioning. Translation: they'd been instructing employees to give smaller portions to increase profit margins, and only changed it when they got caught. The cleanliness issues are constant. Walk into any Chipotle during peak hours and you'll see food splattered on the sneeze guards, dirty tables that haven't been wiped, and a general sense of chaos. Multiple customers have reported finding hair in their food, metal shavings from the food prep equipment, and even pieces of plastic gloves that broke off during preparation. One customer found a dead fly cooked into their rice. Another discovered mold growing on their tortilla. There's 1. Jack in the Box. Jack in the Box sits at number 1 for one simple reason. They were responsible for one of the deadliest foodborne illness outbreaks in American history. In 1993, an E. coli outbreak traced to undercooked contaminated beef at Jack in the Box killed 4 children and sickened over 700 people across 4 states. Many victims were left with permanent disabilities, including kidney failure and brain damage. The outbreak was so severe that it directly led to new federal food safety laws and regulations. One of the victims was 6-year-old Lauren Rudolph, who died after eating a hamburger at Jack in the Box. drugs. Another was 2-year-old Michael Knoll. A 9-year-old girl named Brianne Kiner spent 40 days in a coma and had 3 heart attacks, suffered a massive stroke, and endured multiple organ failure. She survived but was left with permanent complications. These were children who went out for a fast food meal and either died or were left permanently disabled. If this video opened your eyes to anything, please hit that like button and subscribe. We're going to keep investigating these companies and exposing what they don't want you to know. Turn on notifications so you never miss when we drop the next investigation. I've got videos coming about grocery store secrets, hidden ingredients in your favorite snacks, and the shocking truth about delivery apps. Drop a comment telling me which restaurant shocked you the most on this list, or if you've had a nightmare experience at any of these places. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.